The Huayan Temple, or Huayan in Chinese, in Datong, Shanxi Province, is the oldest Buddhist temple remaining in China. It's also different from the other Buddhist temples because it faces east, while the rest face south. It was established in 1038 by the Khitan people who came from Mongolia and founded the Liao Dynasty. While in Mongolia, they worshiped the sun, so their worship halls face east. When they came to what is now Datong City in Shanxi Province, they learned about the culture and religion of the Han people who were living here then, and they adopted the Buddhist religion. This made it easier for them to establish their authority. The main hall, which is the entry point, was built in 1062. The Dogong system of construction that we see here is over 2,500 years old and a hallmark of ancient Chinese architecture. This network of interlocking wooden brackets lets builders construct massive roofs without nails, and by transferring weight to the columns, it allows flexibility during earthquakes. The circle inside a hexagon, a key figure of the traditional caisson ceiling, or caojing, symbolizes the harmony between heaven and earth. The hexagon represents the stability of the earth in 6 directions, while the circle represents heaven. These are 17th century replicas of the originals. Everything in this building is a Qing Dynasty replica. Although these statues were made during the Qing Dynasty, they were carved in the style of the Liao Dynasty from the 11th century, ruled by the Khitan people from what is now Mongolia. The long earlobes are a traditional Buddhist symbol of wisdom, but the large earlobe holes also reflect Khitan ideals of beauty and identity, so the statues were shaped to match what the Liao rulers would have considered to be ideal. The Dashangbao Hall was originally built in 1063 as a Liao Dynasty imperial palace. This platform was also largely made then. Here you can see the bell tower, and on the opposite side is the drum tower. Built during the Ming Dynasty, roughly 600 or 700 years ago, they were added to mark time for rituals, signaling the start of ceremonies, and to frame the hall, emphasizing its importance within the temple complex. After having burned down, the hall was rebuilt in 1140 during the Jin Dynasty and converted into a temple hall. There are several dragons on the roof because at one time people believed dragons lived in the water and protected the buildings from fire. There are 3 doors to the building. Only the emperor was allowed to pass through the central one. Inside, we find 5 Buddha statues from the Ming Dynasty, representing east, west, north, south, and center, a tradition of Mahayana Buddhism. The 5 Buddhas sit side by side along the back wall, and along the side walls are 20 heavenly guardians, 10 on each side. In Mahayana Buddhism, these powerful deities protect the Buddha, defend the teachings, and safeguard the temple. These figures are drawn from Indian, Central Asian, and Chinese traditions, and were adopted into Mahayana Buddhism as protector deities. Their armor, crowns, and weapons emphasize their role as celestial defenders, surrounding the Buddhas with a symbolic barrier of protection and authority. The ceiling's 927 colorful tiles are mainly subdued red, green, and gold, traditional Qing colors, symbolizing good fortune, harmony, and balance. Glazed tiles like these were common in important temples and halls, signaling status and creating a calm and sacred atmosphere. Fierce figures like this guy are a different kind of Buddhist guardian. Unlike the heavenly guardians lining the hall, these act as enforcers and are meant to appear intimidating. The figures beneath them represent worldly desires and negative forces, impulses to control and overcome. As we stroll the temple grounds, the pagoda and the two-story scripture hall rise before us. Though they look ancient, both are reconstructions, rebuilt according to the original Liao-era design, most recently rebuilt between 2008 and 2010.
So this part of the Huayan Temple, or in Chinese, Huayan this is one of the few original buildings. We already saw some that were from 1056. This one was built in 1038. It was a two-story structure, or it is a two-story structure, and the purpose was for storing Buddhist scriptures. Inside, it also has original 11th century Buddhist sculptures representing the different beliefs of the Buddhist religion. In many temples nowadays, there may be Ming statues inside and then paintings on the walls from the Qing Dynasty. But in this building inside, the sculptures are original from the 11th century, the Liao Dynasty, and there are no frescoes on the walls because this was not meant to be a palace or a place of worship. It was essentially a library. They stored the Buddhist scriptures here, and this was the place to come, retrieve scriptures, and read them.
This tall incense burner stands in front of one of the temple buildings. Devotees burn incense here as an offering, a practice that has been part of rituals at this site for centuries. Now we've come to the end of our tour of the Huayan Temple in Datong. Thank you for watching and thank you for your support. I'll see you next time.